Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Floodlights, Camera, Action. Your home for the weekly reaction to the latest films in football. From Stephen Ireland to Stephen Graham, we'll cover the lot. I'm Jack, but podcast is only because it's co-host. So every week, I'll be joined by my good friend Veronica to dissect all things film and football. Veronica, how are you?
Yes.
Wow, we're really getting efficient with these how are yous. I was gutted a couple of episodes ago and you gave me one sentence, so one word is a lot. Is Are you annoyed because you've not watched any football, or is it because you have watched football that you are irritated?
Um. Well, international break. So I had to watch Poland, and it's a big contrast to slot ball. Um. I feel like maybe I feel what a Portsmouth fan feels every week watching Poland.
Just
Um.
disdain.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll talk a bit about it. I watched both games. The first game we won against Scotland. Haha. We beat you at Scotland. Ha ha ha.
The
We
famous
beat you
derby, the
3-2.
famous Poland Scotland derby.
Yeah, it is because I know Scottish people. And we better beat them because I don't want to be hearing any smack. Anyway, we beat them 3-2. We scored two penalties, which were like really obvious penalties. It was just like our winger running into the box and getting fouled. Like it was the most easy like check for a penalty I've seen. I don't think anyone complained. To be fair, we deserved to win that game, in my opinion. But then, second game we lost 1-0 to Croatia, and that game pissed me off so much. That game pissed me off. I was having a meltdown. To be fair, I was having a meltdown both games, but this game I was having a proper meltdown because we weren't even winning. Our defense is so bad. Our defense is so bad. It's shocking. Like it's
Who is
oh
that
my
like
god.
who are the mainstays of the Polish defence these days? Because I'll be honest, I'm not too familiar with Polish football
My
anymore. Not
god.
since the golden oldies left and
Okay.
retired.
Basically, we play three at the back. And do you know why we play at three at the back? We play three at the back because once upon a time we had a new manager and he was from Portugal and his name was Paulo Sousa. And he was like, we're going to play football. We're not just going to defend. We're going to play proper football. We have good players. He's like playing this free something, like maybe 3-5-2 or something. And he was like, we're going to keep the ball. We're actually going to play possession football. We drew against England, I think, during the time he was in charge. Like, we looked decent against decent teams. It's just that because he came in and, the things that he was teaching them were different, it was going to take time. So we did have some results that didn't look the best against kind of bad teams. So people were kind of turning on him. The media didn't like him because he was foreign, I'm going to be honest. But anyway, he tried to implement a style of play. I really liked him because we played some really good stuff, okay? And then he left. He left to go to like Flamengo or something to manage at a club level. And I was so upset. I was so upset. And then obviously our football association is like, well, look, we tried a foreign manager. He left us. We're never doing that again. And then we went back to Polish managers, and we've been rubbish ever since, basically. But they
Paulo
all,
Sousa
but they
is
all
a
kept his formation. They all still played the same formation, but then we just play it worse.
well. If it makes you feel any better, Paulo Sosa is now at Shabab Al Ali.
Yeah, I know.
So you know,
Someone save him.
yeah. I mean, he's not being held
Come
hostage. That was
back.
very,
Come back.
was his choice to go to Shabab Al Ali.
No, he needs to come back to Poland. That'll never happen. And listen, us Paulo Sosa defenders, us still, hiding in the caves, still hoping and praying that he comes back. There aren't many of us, but we are out there. If anyone else is a Paulo Sosa defender, we need to stick together because there are not many left.
Well,
But
let's be
anyway,
hopeful. Who are some of the upcoming Polish stars, if any?
uh, there are like okay. You asked about the centre backs, and I forgot to answer your question, by the way, because I
Very
went on a
rude.
rant. So basically, well, against Scotland, Kivior did start, right? Arsenal player, yeah, you know him.
Yeah,
So
good,
he's
good, good
he
player.
starts left centre back in the back three. The problem was against Scotland, he was shit. He was rubbish. Like he was our worst defender, and he's usually our best defender. And he's quite good going forward as well because he can play fullback. So like, and he's good on the ball. It's just that he was just having such a bad game that he got subbed off. I think at halftime or right after halftime. Like it was not looking good. But he's usually our best defender. Then you've got Jan Bednarek who plays for Southampton.
Ooh.
Okay,
Wanker.
right. Well, he's he's like I don't know. I don't think he's good enough to be honest. But like he's okay for Poland, right? Whatever. Then you've got the third place, which is kind of open because we don't have anyone in like we don't really have any insane centre backs. Like usually, like it would be someone like Davidovic, who I think plays in Italy. I think he plays in Serie A for like Hellas Verona or something like that. Or you have what's his name? I always forget this guy's name. Valukiewicz, who also plays in Italy. I'm pretty sure. Like they're both just Italian centre backs, and they all play in back threes. It's just the I mean, not Bernarek. I don't think Southampton play back three, do they?
Well, to be
I don't
fair, they
know.
are on Bednarek. I thought he was way older than he was. Bednarek is 28, and
Yeah,
Southampton do sometimes. They've tried to play a bit of a 3-5-2. I don't want to talk about Southampton, but it's not sounding good. It is weird though, like how many Italian Polish centre backs have played in Italy. Like Kivior obviously
there's
was at
so
Italy
many.
before Arsenal. Is there any
Italy's
reason for
kind
that,
of like
or
the new
is it just because it's
Bundesliga
nice?
now. Like we used to have loads of players in Germany. I think probably as you were growing up as well, you remember that was like the trio
Yeah,
at Dortmund. You know,
Blaszczykowski.
Baszkowski, Piszczek, Lewandowski,
Yeah,
like
all the
in
boys.
Germany, and there were quite a lot of Bundesliga youngsters coming through there. But then now it's kind of shifted to Italy. Now like loads of Polish players are going to like even young players. Like we have actually you asked about talents. We have a midfielder Kacper Urbański who plays for Bologna, who are in the Champions League now. Last season he played quite a lot. Like he actually got game time as I think a 19-year-old or 18-year-old midfielder. So he is like technically he's really really good, and he is probably my favorite Polish midfielder. Maybe not in the last two games that we played just now because I don't think he's been playing a lot. I don't think he's like properly fit yet for the season. So I think in terms of our midfield looks rubbish as well. Like the only like in terms of central midfield, the three in the middle, the only good one I think at times was Szymański, who plays for Fenerbahce. He played for Feyenoord. He was linked to a lot of clubs. I think Spurs mostly.
Feels like he's been around for ages.
He's
Good
so
player.
good. Like I remember there was an interview recently with Mourinho where I don't know if you saw this because maybe it was just Polish people who were talking about it or Fener fans, but Mourinho said if he could have three Szymańskis in midfield, he'd have three of them because he loves him so much. Like he's just a machine. Like he presses a lot. He's technically brilliant. He'll score outside the box. Like he scored outside the box against Scotland actually.
Yeah,
Um,
unfortunately for Jose though, you can't clone humans yet.
yeah.
So one day, Jose, one day.
I keep going off track because this just gets me so passionate about football again, even though I hate it. It makes me just angry. I think that's why I want to talk about it. What else did I write down? Oh yeah, our best player, our absolute best player, number one player, is absolutely not Lewandowski. It's not Zielinski. It is a wingback, left wingback named Nikola Zalewski. Right now he's at Roma, but I've seen rumours today that he's moving to Galatasaray, which would be incredible. Him and Osimhen, like that would be crazy. Him
And
on the
tell
left,
Jose.
Osimhen up front.
Jose will
Oh
be
my god,
fuming.
he will. But well, he still has Szymański. He'll be happy. But yeah, that would be. I think that would be a good move for him because I don't think he gets much game time at Roma right now. But actually, you're right. Jose would be fuming because the manager who gave him his first kind of minutes of senior football was Jose Mourinho at Roma. So he really did discover another Polish talent. He's well, I didn't discover Szymański, but he's nurturing him now. He discovered Zalewski at Roma. So yeah, Mourinho should move to Poland. I think,
Do you
to be
do you think there's
honest,
a reality? I'm not saying it will happen.
he manages
Do you
Poland.
think? Yeah, yeah.
I
Because
hope so. That would be so
Jose's always
good.
flirted with. He's always flirted with international management, and then Szymanski. Oh, I'm going to butcher these pronunciations, by the way. That left wing back guy. Oh,
Zalewski.
he'd love
Oh,
Robert Lewandowski. He'd love him. I think it could happen. In like 5 years' time. It could.
that would
I'm
be
just saying.
great. That would be great.
It would be awful, but like great in the same
Well,
way.
honestly, it can't get worse. Like, I don't care about the style of football because the style of football's always shit, except for that one time Sosa tried. Like, we never try and play football, right? Something I wanted to highlight about Zalewski. So obviously he scored a penalty. He won both penalties, and then in the second game he was like just miles above every other player on the pitch. Completely, like the difference between him and every other Polish player was so obvious in that game against Croatia. It was crazy. Like there was a part of the game, right, where we were losing 1-0, it was maybe 60th, 70th minute. And obviously he's a wing back, so sometimes he's in a defensive position, even though he loves to bomb forward. He was he was in the defensive third, in the left corner, right? He was being pressed by quite a few Croatian attackers, maybe 3 of them at once. They triggered a press on him, and he went around them into our penalty box. So he went across the penalty box, ran around them, like ran rings around like maybe 5 or 6 Croatian players trying to press him and get the ball back by himself. And then he made a through ball forward onto the left wing to create an attack. And we had an overload because of the fact that all of them went into him. He went around everyone. Oh, and then we fucked up the attack, obviously. But like him doing that, it literally looked like someone was playing FIFA. Like it looked crazy to just like beat the Croatian press by dribbling around everyone in your own defensive third. It's like, God, he's so good.
People lost their mind about that video of the I think it must be like an American academy team or something, but playing like positional football and like passing across the face of their own goal. But
Yeah.
yeah, don't show people
He
that
didn't even pass, he just
particular move.
dribbled.
Exactly, it's worse.
Yeah, it's
no
worse.
no
My
place for
dad
that in
said,
my
like,
modern
if he
game.
fucked that up,
Woke.
like, imagine how pissed off people would be. But I was like, yeah, but he didn't. He went around everyone and he created a good chance.
That is dads and male football fans in general, though, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like, well,
imagine if he
what if
didn't
it did
do
go
it.
wrong? What if he failed? What if he failed miserably and just embarrassed himself in front of everyone? That's But luckily that man did not do that, so
Right.
that's a good thing.
Well, okay, I know that I've been going on for a long time. It feels like I've been going on for a long time.
13 minutes of Poland chat, by the way. Didn't see that coming.
Listen, I just need to mention really quickly a last bit because I want to talk about our strikers. We played 2 up front and they're both non existent. What is the point of playing 2 strikers instead of 1 if they do nothing the whole game? You might as well just play someone extra in midfield or add another centre back. Like, we have 3
What
centre
if you add
backs.
another
And
striker
actually,
and it gets better? So
no,
the opposite of diminishing returns. The more
no,
you invest, the
that will
more you get
never
back.
happen. That will never happen.
You have 3
Listen,
strikers to play up top at once.
yeah, we did. But you know what? My theory is that the only reason we play more than 1 striker is because everyone knows Lewandowski will start. And then to keep the other strikers happy, we have a partner with him. And then to keep the other strikers happy in the past, we played 3 strikers because we didn't have any really like amazing kind of attacking midfielders or whatever. And we just wanted to appease everyone because we had so many strikers that we just changed the formation to make them happy. I really
Is
don't
Milik
think we need 2.
is Milik? Is it Milik? Milic? Is he Polish or is he?
Yeah, Milik is Polish,
Yeah.
but he's not even called up, to be honest.
Oh
Like,
well, I sort of know things,
Piontek
but
is
clearly that
still
knowledge is
being
irrelevant.
called up. He actually scored a hat trick recently.
He's still going.
He scored
He's
a hat
still
trick in
going.
Turkey recently. He scored a hat trick in
Come on
40
now.
minutes. He's brilliant. He's back in
That's
form.
impressive.
Yeah. And also, right, real quick, the very last bit about the centre backs. How can you have 3 centre backs? Yeah, they're all tall. They look like shithouse centre backs who just get rid of the ball, right? And then when they can't win a simple challenge, a physical challenge or a header, it pisses me off so much. Do you ever get pissed off of that? When you see, like, let's say a shorter striker and a fucking massive tall centre back who wins headers all game, and he keeps losing challenges to this guy, like, it just, oh my god, it makes me so annoyed. This is the
So
thing that you're meant to be good at, and you can't even do that. And then you can't even play out from the back because Bednarek passed the ball straight to a Croatian midfielder like it was nothing. It just pisses me
Pompey
off.
Pompey. I might be misremembering here, but Pompey used to have a centre back, an academy player called Matt Casey. This is maybe about 6 years ago, And from what I remember, whenever I watched, he was like 6'8" maybe. He was huge, like really lanky because he was like a kid. But um, I don't think I ever saw him win a header. He didn't play much, but I saw him play a little bit for Gosport Borough. I think it was him anyway. And I very rarely saw him win a header. It's like, why are you tall? Just give your height, just redistribute it. Give one of those short kings a couple of inches, so to speak. Not in that
Um.
way. That sounds vulgar, but you know,
Well.
distribute the wealth.
Okay. Anyway, I'm done now. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
No, no more than chat for
No,
another week.
I actually had more, but I've been talking for 15 minutes, so let's move on.
The people will love it. I did so. It's obviously the international break, which means no Pompey, which is sad. Despite the fact we're a bit crap at the moment, but we've got West Brom at the weekend, and we should have some of our big boys back from injury, which is good. I didn't watch Lee Carsley's first game against Ireland because I had a night out to the Southern Lettuce and then Gosport's only and worst nightclub, Emma's. Sorry, Emma's. But I did watch a little bit of academy football for work, which was fun. Kind of back into the swing of things with work now, working with players, which is good. But yeah, hopefully next week, a bit more football to watch because I've missed it, although I've watched a lot of films to make up for it this week. Anyway, now this week, you'll be very happy to know you're not getting just one, you're getting two football games / quizzes. The first of which will be hosted by me, obviously the obscure football quiz. This time we are merging film and football in a symphony of love and affection. Veronica, this game is very simple. I'm going to give you an actor and then a footballer, and you just have to tell me who's taller. How does that sound?
Yep. Yeah, let's go. Yep.
Good. I would suggest you do a dramatic pause. The listeners at home can submit their answers. Are you ready?
Okay.
Number one. Who is taller, Jake Gyllenhaal or Casemiro?
Gyllenhaal.
Incorrect. It's Casemiro, I'm
No!
afraid. Yeah, Casemiro's 6'1". Jake Gyllenhaal is, I believe, 5'11".
Oh, I thought Casemiro was like 5'8". He
So
just
did I.
he just
Yeah,
comes across as a short
got
guy
that
because he
build.
gets so angry. Oh.
Anyway, number two. Let's go. Brad Pitt or Jill Scott?
Jill Scott, surely.
Correct. Jill Scott is just taller than Brad Pitt. See, you're on one for two. Keanu Reeves or Yakubu?
Ooh. Yakubu.
Incorrect. It's Keanu Reeves, I'm afraid. Number four. Tom Cruise or Tiago Alcantara?
Tiago.
Correct. You're on 2 for 4. Your last question. Who is taller? One of our favourite actresses, I believe, Nicole Kidman, or David Villa, one of my favourite ever footballers?
Nicole Kidman.
Correct. That's what, 3 for 2?
Yes.
Sorry, 3 for 5. I
knew
can't
she
remember
was
how numbers
tall.
work. Yeah, she is tall. She's about 5'11", I
yeah.
think. So like her and Jill Scott in a Barclays strike partnership,
Yeah.
4-4-2, do some damage. Now, I believe you have our next game.
Yeah,
I think this might be your first football quiz, by the way, or game.
Yeah, I think so because it's. I don't know how to describe it. It's not a quiz. It's a game. I thought of it on the train today because I don't know. I had nothing to do and there were loads of delays. So I'm gonna call it football Mad Libs. So you know Mad Libs, like you have a story and then you put in like a verb or a
Yes, I've seen
noun
Jimmy Fallon do this with
or
celebrities.
whatever. Well, anyway, I'm gonna do a bit differently. I don't know if this has been done before. This may be an exclusive world premiere of this concept. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to give me the first player that comes to mind when I say each football position, and I'll give you a category to choose from for that position. It will make sense when I start,
Okay,
and then
cool.
at the end, I'll read out your starting 11, and we could talk about how that would look like, or the viewers can judge your team this week.
Sounds good.
Are you ready?
Yep.
So today we're going with 4-4-2 because it's a classic. It's the pilot game.
As we should be.
We need to go 4-4-2. All right. Let me just get ready to write these down. So the first player I want from you, Jack, is a goalkeeper from Spain who currently still plays football. Who's the first one?
Unai Simon. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, him.
Next player. I want a right back who has played for PSG at some point.
Oh, I literally cannot think of one.
If,
A right back is play.
if you
Oh,
think of one, just
oh
give
no,
it.
no, Hakimi.
Hakimi. Okay. They can be ex-players if I don't specify that they currently play football, by
Yeah,
the way.
my ball knowledge is shite.
Now,
So
two centre-backs. I want them both to be English, and I want them both to be playing in the Premier League right now.
James
Two English centre-backs
Tarkowski
who currently play in the Prem. Yep,
and Lewis
Tarkowski.
Dunk.
Right. Next, I want you to give me a left back who is Brazilian. They can be retired.
Marcelo. Actually, not Marcelo. He's a bit controversial, isn't he?
You've already
Alexandro.
said it. I've written it
Okay,
down.
cool.
All right.
Bad person, Marcelo. I should clarify.
The two centre mids. No, I think you're thinking of Danny Alves. I think Marcelo's fine.
I think they're all shitbags.
Oh, you know what? Whatever. Two centre mids in the middle who have or still play for Liverpool.
Who have or still play for Liverpool?
Your two
Gini
midfielders.
Wijnaldum
Yeah.
and did Dirk Kuyt, yeah, that guy. Does he play centre mid?
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
we'll put him in there. Okay, your left mid or right mid, I want them to be players who have played for Portsmouth in the past 5 seasons. So who's your left mid?
Josh Koroma. He's terrible. It's terrible.
And your right mid?
Abu Kamara, not terrible, amazing footballer. Now plays for Hull.
Now, your strikers. The first striker you give me has to be over 6'2" and a current player. And if you think of the player, you can Google him to find his height. Okay, there we go, Weghorst. And then your second striker, of course, has to be a striker who's below 5'10", current player.
Who's below 5'10", current player.
Striker.
Right.
It's a short striker. You can check
Julian Alvarez's height. Apologies for my typing. 170. Yeah, probably Julian Alvarez.
Yep. Okay. That's your team.
Yeah.
Are you ready to find out what team you made? I'll make a little graphic and I'll post it later so you can have a look at what it will look like.
Isn't it?
Right. Your goalkeeper is Unai Simon. Your defense is, from left to right, Marcelo, Lewis Dunk, James Tarkowski.
Marcelo, who is not a criminal, by the way. Just checked.
And
Marcelo's
Hakimi. Let's not comment on Hakimi.
It's not bad, is it? The centre back's not great, but you know,
the defense, it's it's
pretty
pretty
good. In the right back.
And then your midfield, your next 4 of the 4-4-2 is from left to right: Koroma, Gini Wijnaldum, Dirk Kuyt, Kamara, and up front, Weghorst and Alvarez. What are you thinking of your team?
Mine's sane for saying that Weghorst and Alvarez could conceivably work as a strike partnership.
Yeah, I think they could. Alvarez does drop back. I think that would be pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I'll be honest, I don't hate it. The midfield's interesting, but, I feel like let's call it footballing bad libs so we don't get sued.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I think I've done quite well there. How would you rate the team out of 11?
I feel like it's not very defensive.
But have we not learned from this last week on Twitter? You don't need defenders, you need vibes. You need vibes.
True. That is true. We've also learned that from our championship predictions that haven't gone too well, but yeah.
Still early. It's still early.
Yeah, that is it. That's the game. I'll put it up on...
I'd happily play that again.
I'll put it up on Twitter and everyone can rate your team.
Well, it's better than us getting cancelled. Not cancelled, but our TikTok getting shut down for either copyright or illegalities. One of the two.
I won the appeal, so our TikTok was uncancelled. Let's go.
That's miscarriage of justice by Big Talk.
Big TikTok. All right.
Anywho, if you enjoyed this segment, the footballing segment, make sure you leave a 5-star rating on Spotify and maybe drop a follow if you want to. And if you're feeling incredibly kind, not to us but to yourself, click auto download and you will always have the latest episode downloaded to your library So if you're on your commute and you go, shit, I didn't download the podcast, well, guess what? It's already in your library. So enjoy. Now, away from football and into the world of film, entertainment, and other forms of fun. Have you had the chance on this fine international break to watch much in the way of film?
Yes, I have. I've had a few days off, so I've actually watched 5 films. 5. I think that's the most I've watched since we started the podcast in a
Still
week.
going. You watched
Actually,
more
no,
this
that's a
week than you
lie.
did at Venice,
No,
sort of.
I didn't.
Well, let's just say you did, and
But
then
yeah, let's just pretend like this is crazy. So yeah, we'll start from oldest watch, and then we'll go to the newest. So actually, you know what? I haven't seen anything that good except the first film, which is Trap.
yeah, Trap
I
Summer or Trap Autumn.
Yeah, Trap Autumn. I rated it 3.5, which I think it's pretty good for a film
I'm fine with
like
that.
Trap. Because it's just fun. It's just like a bit of fun. It's a little, what is going on, and oh, who is this, and what's going to happen next. Like it keeps you on your toes. I think it's a bit funnier than you'd expect as well. Yeah, Jack.
The letterbox rating, and I don't say this lightly, is a fucking disgrace. It's sat on a
What is it?
2.8. 2.8.
2.8.
It's insane. I don't get how people can watch it and
What?
go, this is anything less than a really entertaining film.
Yeah.
I watched it. I'm not sure how you watched it, but I watched it in cinema on opening night with like a packed out crowd, and it was just so fun. Everyone was laughing at the jokes. I guess the experience is a big thing. But what was your experience of watching it?
Well, yeah, no, I didn't watch it at the cinema. I watched it on my laptop. It was on VOD, so I bought it. Um, it was yeah. I mean, I liked it. Yeah, I liked it, but I gave it 3.5 because it isn't anything more than a fun watch with like your friends or your family or whatever. It's
It's a good
not.
rating, by the way. A 3.5 is not to
Yeah,
be sniffed at.
it's a
It's a good rating.
7. But Josh Hartnett is great. Like he's brilliant in that film. I think he kind of carries a little bit, but he also looks really good. I just want to say,
I don't think
as
the
a
film
father.
works, and yeah, the film doesn't work nearly as well if anyone else is cast in that
Yeah,
role. I think his his line delivery, his demeanor,
but he
his
also
his whole
comes
performance is
across as
great.
a good father. He
Yeah,
does.
that's the thing, right? Like the whole
He
point was
does.
this is spoilers, but there's a point later on in the film where his family kind of escape from his house, and he goes, I never imagined the two worlds between the killing and his family would combine, and it's like that his ability to merge, like you can clearly see he really loves his daughter and really cares about her. With yeah, he's also just a psychopath who kills people.
No, but the beginning
It's
of the
so great.
film when
It's so
he's
great.
just a dad, like taking his daughter to a concert, he's just so sweet with like his kids. He is.
He'd do anything for that girl, including kill
Yeah.
people.
Well, next film. I don't even know if I want to talk about it, to be honest. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't want to talk about it. I
Mate,
gave it a one. I've already had
okay, let's
arguments
settle
about
on this.
this.
Let's settle on this. Film was an entirely subjective experience, and my 4.5 is just as relevant as your 1.5. I think that's fair. We
Okay. Yeah, so as you just spoiled, I did give it 1.5. But listen, it's not the lowest rated film of the week, okay? So listen, I'll give it that. It's not the lowest rated of the week. 1.5 because okay, I'm gonna explain first why it's not lower. It's not lower because I liked the bits with like the kind of forgotten characters like Blade and Gambit and stuff. Like I thought Channing Tatum and Wesley Snipes were really good in what they were doing, and that I thought that was fun. Like I feel like because that was so short, it's unfortunate because that was the bit that I liked. The bits that I didn't like were every time Deadpool was on screen, which is 90% of the film, unfortunately, which is why I kind of had to rate it low. Oh, also, the music choices were good. Like, I like the songs are cool. I like NSYNC and the other stuff they used, was pretty good. But I just, listen, I didn't find any of it funny. Like, there was not one bit I found funny. ever the whole way through. And I know that is because probably because I watched it on my own at home. Like I get it in an audience, especially if you're in an audience that loves Marvel and stuff, and are maybe the target audience for this, you'll probably get kind of lost in the oh my god, it's that guy, oh my god, it's that guy, oh my god, that was so good, that was so funny, I can't believe he said that. But it's like when I was watching it on my own on my laptop, I was just staring at my screen completely blankly every time he tried to say something funny. I don't like the bits where it's like the joke is that it's kind of gay. Like, how is that funny? Like, oh, he did something that's kind of gay. Like, okay, like honestly, I think they should have gone all the way and at the end just had them have sex, like Deadpool
Yeah,
and Wolverine. At the very end, when
I'd have
when
paid for
he
that.
enters his house again, I was like, oh my god, they're actually going to do it. I'm going to increase my rating by half a star, and then they just don't go there. It's like if you're going to do that, like this isn't like 2016 where this is like something crazy. Like if you're going to go that way and try and make it, like fuck it, we're gonna do something crazy and we're gonna make them be together and then we're gonna do this, like just go all the way. Like you're actually cowards for not going all the way on stuff like that. Like it would have, not in a, it would have made it funny, but at least you would have committed to it. It's just like, oh wow, look, they hugged once. Aha, that's so funny because they might be gay. I know, I just find that stupid. The
Yeah, I don't
like
disagree.
every
I
joke was
don't agree
just
with you with any of your
listen.
criticisms. It's fair.
When, like for example, right, when I was younger, there was a Deadpool game, and it came out on, like PlayStation and Xbox PC. And I remember when I was younger, I watched like playthroughs of that game, and I was thinking like, oh my god, this is so funny. And it's like, right, it was funny because first of all I was younger, right? But second of all, because it was like something you haven't seen before. You've never seen a superhero behave in that way, and it was R rated, and he was swearing, and he was drinking, and like there was loads of blood and gore and stuff, and you just haven't seen that before. Now it's like you have something, for example, like The Boys, right, the TV show, where you see that go even further, and they're watching something like Deadpool. I didn't even mind the first Deadpool film or the sequel that much. It's just this one, it just feels like it's gotten old for me anyway. And I don't know if it's because I'm older. Even though I do like The Boys, I just feel like it just does stuff like that better. Like I know it's hard to compare, I get that. But when you've seen all of that and then you go watch Deadpool, it's kind of like, why is this even an R-rated film? It's like it feels like it's made for kids, but it's also trying to appeal to like adults. I don't know. It just didn't make sense in my head. I feel like it's overdone now, and I know they're gonna make a fourth one, and I will probably watch it just to see if it gets better. But I just can't see, like, it's just not new. None of that was new. Right? Yes,
Yeah,
Jack.
so I actually, so I gave it a 4.5, and I've literally just dropped it down to it. I've thought about it quite a lot over the last week because
Yeah.
people we know have been talking about it and people we know have been watching it, and I've dropped it down to a 4 because I think I don't know. It's just I think that an issue with event cinema is that it's I don't know. It's a weird one. I think like I love the film. I really enjoyed my time with it, but I
Yeah.
think you can also accept that it is incredibly flawed, and in hindsight, everything worked. But I don't know. Yeah,
It is
it's a weird one,
difficult
isn't it?
because
It's really divisive as well.
if you watch certain films at the cinema in a packed out crowd, which I've done before, and you're on your phone on the way back and you're like, oh my god, that was incredible, like the atmosphere and everyone was laughing and it made me want to laugh, and like and then you leave the cinema and then like you just had such a great time, and then you go read reviews and stuff and you just get yourself so hyped up, and then but then I feel like you should be allowed to look back on something and actually in hindsight change your mind because you realize that you've been affected by how you watched it, or that actually compared to other films maybe it's not the same rating as other stuff, or I don't know, I feel like that should be more allowed for you to change your mind on things without having to rewatch them, because that happens to me all the time. And like I feel like some people are like, well, you rated it 5 stars last week, why have you dropped it down? Like you've been affected by other people, but actually sometimes it's not that you see what other people have said, it's just that you think about it more and you realize, actually my rating's been affected because I saw it at a film festival, or I saw it at a packed out crowd, or I saw it with my best friends and we were laughing at it the whole time. That sort of stuff also goes into ratings. If I saw it at
Yeah. So
cinema, I'm
yeah.
sure I would have given it at least, well, not at least, but maybe I would have given it 3.5 because the atmosphere would have been good.
so much of like your opinion on a film is
Also,
your
how you feel
experience.
on the
Is
day.
yeah, like I've just looked at my rankings. I've literally, as I said, just dropped it to a 4. It's in terms of my 2024 rankings. It's still sat at the place it sat at because I won't reveal that until the end of the year unless you look on my
Oh my god,
letterbox.
that's gonna be a great episode. Can't wait
Yeah,
for that one.
but it's I've just looked. I've got it just head of zone of interest.
Oh my god. You shouldn't have told me that. The thing is, right, actually,
This is
I
prone
wish
to
Zone
change.
of
It's very prone to
Interest was
change.
not. I wish Zone of Interest was not released this year because whenever I look at my year end ranking and I put something above Zone of Interest, I feel so dirty doing it
Yeah,
because it's so good and it's so harrowing. But I'm like, but I kind of
some of the
enjoyed this
films.
film a bit more. It's hard. It's hard to do.
Deadpool and Wolverine left me less depressed than Zone of Interest.
Yeah.
Weird Zone of Interest for me. Zone of Interest is incredible, but I was just so sad at the end of it.
I actually
Yeah,
had
it's in my
like
top
my
10,
heart
but
was sinking lower and lower the whole way watching it. Like I've never felt such a physical reaction to watching a film at a cinema
it was like
as I did
guttural,
watching
right?
Zone of Interest. Like it makes you not that you're gonna throw up, but you can feel like everything inside you just drop, like for certain scenes, and
Sandra
like you
Hüller,
feel
Oscar
like
Charge.
there's like shivers going down, or like you feel yourself go really cold or something. I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but I felt like I had a
No, that
visceral
was
reaction
everyone that
to
watched
it.
that film in the cinema had that reaction.
Yeah, like there's no way you don't like if you're paying attention, you will have some sort of physical reaction to watching stuff like Zone of Interest. But anyway, this isn't Zone of Interest. It's also Deadpool Wolverine to Zone of Interest. Crazy. Wow, only on FCA. But yeah, right. Let's move on from that film. If you liked it and you had fun, I'm not saying you can't like it. Maybe my review was quite harsh because I called it Marvel's slop. But
This is good moving on, by the way. Very good moving on.
yeah, okay. I moved on from Zone of Interest. Okay, right. Yeah, like I just want to give this disclaimer. If you liked it, I don't hate you or anything. Like you can have fun watching your little kid films. Like I'm joking. Uh, you can have fun watching stuff like this, and that's fine. But guess what? I didn't have fun watching at all. I watched the new Borderlands film.
More like Borderlands because it's crap, apparently.
Listen, this genuinely might be one of the worst films I've ever seen. And I'm not even saying this as an exaggeration. I gave it 0.5 and it made me want to go back and see what else I gave 0.5 just to check if it was the same level as Borderlands or if it deserves its own separate level on the rating scale and I move everything else up to 1. That is how seriously bad this is. Listen, some films are bad, but I'd say, oh, go watch it anyway and form your own opinion, or go watch it because it's so bad it's good, like with quite a few horror films or whatever. There's stuff like that, right? This film, there is so much wrong with it. Not even wrong, there is so much in it that is nothing. There is no opinion on. Like, it's like Deadpool and Wolverine, but it never tried to be funny and it never it has no memorable script lines at all. I cannot remember any of the characters' names except Claptrap and that's only because I played the game. Like I cannot. I'm struggling to remember a single scene from that film. It's 2 hours long. Nothing happens. The actors look like they're there just to get paid and leave. The thing is, right? Okay, I'm personally not a massive fan of Kevin Hart, but Kevin Hart, even when he's in the bad comedy, he kind of there's some sort of him being loud and cheery and trying to make people laugh, and you can tell he's trying. Maybe he's not funny, but he's trying, and there's facial
Because he's a
expressions or whatever.
comedian.
He's a comedian, but in this film, it's like he doesn't even smile once throughout the film, and he's meant to be the comedic relief, or Claptrap's meant to be the comedic relief, but none of the lines are as good as what the game wrote, and these are people who write films. So it's like, oh my god, I can't even. I'm struggling so hard to tell you one thing about this film, to even tell you how bad it is. Like, I think the
Famously,
fact
for
that I
all good
can't think of
reviews, that's what
anything.
people say.
Yeah, listen. I just feel like the fact that I can't think of anything to say about it shows how bad it is. Because with Deadpool Wolverine, at least I got riled up. I had something to say about what I didn't like, what I liked, what could it be better compared it to other stuff. This film is like nothingness, and it looks also the actual, not just the script or the acting or whatever, which are both rubbish. It's like the look of the film as well. Like they tried to make it look like like a game. Like my mum was walking past the screen and she asked me if I was playing if I was watching a game. I was like, no, I'm watching a film. I'm like, how did she know? Like, because she didn't know what that film was. Like, she thought it was a game because it just looks so plasticky and weird. But actually, I don't think it looks as good as a video game film can look because the lighting was weird. It looks plasticky, like it looked like a film set. Like it just didn't look like someone made this world. It just looks like they were on a film set doing nothing, just walking around and talking. Oh my god, oh, it was so bad. Do not watch it. Listen, if you like the game, don't watch it. If you don't like the game, don't watch it.
And give these people your money.
No, no, listen. Even if you're not paying for it, don't watch it. Like you're wasting 2 hours of your life. Like any other bad film is still worth watching to have an opinion on. This is not worth watching because you will not even know what to say about the film. Okay, I'm just gonna move on because it is absolutely awful. Next film I watched was actually a film that I have never heard of. I just like was looking through Letterboxd and I was like, oh, this is a new film and I'm gonna watch it. It's a film called Skincare. You've probably never heard of it. Am I right?
Never heard of it. Can confirm.
Okay. Well, it was released this year, actually, recently. It recently came out on VOD, so actually everyone can watch it now. But it was released this year. I don't think it got a cinematic release. I don't know what sort of platform it was on before, or if it was on a kind of platform. But it stars Elizabeth Banks in the main role, which I really like her. She was in Pitch Perfect or something. Whatever. I know she's done quite a lot of directing and producing recently, so I was surprised she was in a lead in a film this year. Anyway, she's in the lead role. I can't remember the other actors to be honest, but they're all pretty good. I gave this film 3 stars. It's basically about a woman. I don't. It said like it's a fictional film based on a a, a true story. I don't know. It didn't really make sense. I don't think it's a true story to be honest. But it was they explained it in a weird way at the beginning. Anyway, it's about her. She's like this really famous Hollywood skincare specialist, right? She does like facial sessions with clients, like celebrity clients and like billionaires in Hollywood and whatever. And there's like this guy who moves into the building across from her who's also doing skincare stuff, right? And then she starts getting like messages and emails and like website posts made in her name, like asking people to do really bad things to her, like bad sexual acts, like violent sexual acts to her and stuff. And then she has like people coming to her salon, like creeps, like asking her for this stuff, like you made a post on the internet that you wanted someone to do this and this and this, and obviously like she starts getting scared and like she gets phone calls like really creepy and stuff. Anyway, so it's like, oh, who's doing this? It's like a who is trying to ruin this woman's life and her career and everything basically. And there's also like other side characters that are introduced and kind of they all have a motive, so you don't really know who is involved and stuff. And like it's like I gave it 3 stars because Elizabeth Banks is really good in the main role, and actually she manages to get you to feel quite a bit of sympathy for a character that at the beginning seems like the worst person ever, but then when stuff happens to them you think, oh, actually, you know I feel bad for her. She's having a hard time. Maybe she's not as bad as I thought at the beginning. um yeah, I think the side kind of characters, the supporting actors are pretty good as well, and the story is kind of you never really know where it's gonna go. It's kind of entertaining, so I gave it 3 stars. I didn't give it a higher because there wasn't it wasn't anything crazy or wow. It was just kind of a thriller about a skincare woman, like a big skincare owner woman. I don't know.
Sarah V, the whodunit story.
Yeah, well, yeah. But it was, yeah, I would recommend you watch it. Is just there's probably better stuff out there. I just like watching new films so I can have opinions on them. And speaking of new films, there's a new Netflix film called Rebel Ridge. I don't know if you've heard of it. Loads of people
No
have talked
spoilers,
about it.
please, because I want to watch this over the next week. So don't
Yeah,
spoil it in your review, please.
I won't. So, loads of people have been raving about this film. I've never heard of it, and then randomly everyone's like, "Oh my god, there's an actual good Netflix film out right now. Everyone should go watch it." So, it's a film called Rebel Ridge. It's out on Netflix right now if you want to go watch it yourself. I watched it yesterday, last night. It's kind of like a action thriller slash revenge story. Um, the main actor, I can't remember his name. I don't know if
Aaron
Jack can.
Pierre.
Aaron Pierre, there we go. He's British, but he has a very good American accent. You can't tell. He's really good as the main character, and he's kind of who you follow through the whole thing, basically. Maybe 90% of the film. Um, I mean, Jackson, not to spoil, and I know this is really a like new film and it's accessible to everyone, so I don't want to say too much. I gave it 2.5, which might seem low because I know loads of people have been rating it for like 4.5. But like I'm in general not a massive action film fan. Like it has to be something. There has to be something extra, like something crazy or special, or like a really 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 good script mainly, which I thought sometimes this was a little bit silly with its script and stuff, but the acting was good. I know Don Johnson is his name. Don Johnson, Dakota Johnson's dad. He's in it.
Can't help you that one.
Well, I think he's named Don
Hopefully.
Johnson. Anyway, I and he's Dakota Johnson's dad, so that's where I know him from. I know that he's also a really good actor historically, but that's where I know him
Your
from.
future father-in-law.
Hopefully. uh but yeah, I don't want to say too much about it. It's an action thriller. It's on Netflix right now. Go watch it. Like I would recommend it. It's just that it's not a sort of film that I like absolutely love. Like I did enjoy my time watching it. It was just a little bit too long. I think it's a little bit too long, to be honest. Like the middle bit didn't have to be that long. But that's kind of my main criticism is yeah, that's it. Go watch it and make your own opinion because I know a lot of people loved it and I'm probably an anomaly. And Jack will probably rave about it next week. So that's
Yeah,
it.
because I'm just
That's my 5.
simple-minded.
Well, no, no, but you just have a different opinion.
And that's good. Anyway, as for my opinions, I watched 8 films this week, which, if you remember correctly, I am trying my best, and it's going to happen. I'm on about 263 at the moment. I'm trying to average at least one film a day this year, which is going really well. Going very well. I'm not bored yet, which is good. Anyway, so we're going to do these from worst to best almost. We're going to categorize them from bad, mid slash decent, good, and great. In terms of the bad, I only watched one bad film. It was M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening, starring Mark Wahlberg and the woman from 500 Days of Summer, whose name I can't remember. Good film, by the way. So the plot is
Her name
basically
is her name is Zoe Deschanel. I think
yes. So I was going to say that, but I
she's in a
wasn't sure if she
sitcom
was the
called New
person who set it
Girl.
up.
Go watch.
Yes, shout out to Zoe Deschanel. Anyway, this film basically it's about people in New York and Northeast America start randomly killing themselves, and they're trying to escape all of the suicides. There's a twist about halfway through, which I'm glad they did it halfway through because if they revealed at the end, it would be so dumb. It's insane. It just wasn't very good. It was really badly acted. Zoe Deschanel, who I do like, was pretty bad. But I think I read that it was because basically all the actors were just confused by what M Night was going for, so they were just kind of stuck between. Mark Wahlberg was his best part of acting was when he talked to a plastic tree. Yeah, just not great. Next, mid to decent. I'll do the 2 Ryan Gosling films I saw. So I've only got 2 more Ryan Gosling films left. I've seen, I think it's 20. Let me have a little looky. Um, I have seen There we go to my lists. I've seen 28 Ryan Gosling films, including the film he directed, Lost River. Um, and I've only got two left. And when I've seen the last two, which is United States of Leland and Murder by Numbers, I will do a full Ryan Gosling ranking on the podcast. We'll do an episode for it. But anyway, the first Gosling film I saw this week was Gangster Squad. Basically just kind of an action comedy about kind of maybe 60s, 70s, I can't quite remember. LA, a gangster comes over and the police have to try and sort him out. Um, 3 out of 5, that one. Oh, that happened got 2 out of 5, by the way. But Gangster Squad, 3 out of 5. Really kind of dumb, but I like the cast. Josh Brolin's always great. Yeah, it was just kind of fine. Next was Fracture, starring Ryan Gosling and Anthony Hopkins, which was a legal courtroom drama slash thriller in which Anthony Hopkins tries to kill his wife and he is trying to get away with it. And Ryan Gosling plays an ambitious district attorney trying to get him down quickly so he can move on to a new expensive job. Um, it's kind of, I feel like a better writing and better directing would take this from a 3 to a 4. It had real potential to be great, but kind of just turned out a bit generic. Again, a 3 out of 5. Hopkins was great. Gosling, I wasn't enamored by his performance. He did a stupid accent in both this and Gangster Squad. And Gangster Squad is like a whiny American accent. In Fracture, it was a kind of like a weird Southern. Yeah, I wasn't really wowed by him, but it was entertaining enough. It was fine. Next in that category, I watched Disaster Artist, which is starring Dave and James Franco, directed by James Franco. Loads of A-listers in there that just randomly pop up. It's basically about the making of Tommy Wiseau's The Room, which I've not seen, but I've seen Anything for My Princess, and that one of him on the roof enough to kind of understand what the hell was going on. This again, 3 out of 5, just kind of fine, um, unspectacular. It was funny enough, and then it just got kind of grating about halfway through. It was all right. Moving into the good category. First, we've got Moon, starring Sam Rockwell twice and Kevin Spacey. This is a kind of a mystery about a guy who's working on his own on the moon, and then he is suddenly not alone. It's an hour and a half. It's on BBC iPlayer at the moment if you're in the UK. It's worth a watch. I gave it a 3.5, so a 7 out of 10. Just a decent film. Was too short, in my opinion, because it kind of needed to fully explore what happens at the end of the film, but it just kind of like goes, here's what's happened. And it's like, wow, it's not ideal. Next up, I saw my 22nd, I believe, Tom Cruise film, or 21st, Interview with the Vampire, in which Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt play vampires. I wish I loved it more. I got a 3.5 again, just kind of decent. Tom Cruise is incredible as like this really campy, fun vampire. It's one of my favorite Tom Cruise performances because it's not what you expect from him. Next up is Blue Velvet, directed by David Lynch, starring Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern. Kind of again like a mystery thriller, weird, surrealist because it's David Lynch. Again, a 3.5 out of 5. I didn't click with all of it, but it was entertaining. It was mysterious, and the villain, I think his name was Frank. Just a really fun performance, really stupid. And then Into the Great, and the last film on the list, I watched The Terminator, which is one of my cinematic blind spots. Um, it was incredible. I got 4.5 out of 5. I loved it so much. I thought for a film that cost 7 million, the only complaints I had was pacing, not the pacing, sorry, the effects rather. And that kind of took it down, but I can accept why that was the case. And yeah, Sarah Connor was awesome. I really liked Sarah Connor's romance with the guy who's trying to save her. I can't remember his name, but yeah, it's just really well paced. It was really just awesome and fun. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to recommend The Terminator because I'm sure most people have seen it, but I can't wait to watch the next one soon. Anyway, away from the past into the future, Veronica, do you have any cinema trips lined up over the next week or so?
Well, actually, I've today I had a look at the London Film Festival lineup. I know the tickets were released, and I got a few, but I'm gonna keep that quiet until the beginning of October because there's no point me really announcing it now and then announcing it a week before it happens. So look out for a few reviews of a London Film Festival films.
Yeah, look forward to that. Now this is my sort of it's 50-50, but this is my podcast, which means my rules. And I may or may not be turning this week's physical media update into a very quick book club. I'm going to do very quick reviews of the first and second June books. As for the first one, the reason I'm doing this is because obviously June is one of the biggest film franchises at the moment. There's so much talk about it. It's so much love. June 2 is widely regarded as the best film of the year. Obviously, not everyone will agree with that, but a lot of people will. So I thought, it's a hot topic, and I've just read the first two, so we'll have a little chat about it. In terms of the first one, unbelievable world building, very well written, really absorbing. It balanced the themes and the social commentary really well. I was very impressed by that. It did take me quite a few months to read it because I'm really bad for reading books. I can read, I should clarify. I'm just slow, and I always find excuses not to read. So it did take me a while, but that wasn't any reflection of the book itself. I mean, it was quite dense. It was about 500 pages, and it's a slow book to read. So there are extenuating circumstances, but that got a 9 out of 10, I'd say. And as for the second book, I might actually prefer the second book. I can't tell. Anyway, basically, it doubled down on all the themes of like religion and power, colonialism, religious conquest, like the crusades and jihads. That was kind of really built in the first book, and then just like smashed in the second book. 'Cause it's essentially just an extended epilogue. Um, and that kind of the social commentary is probably my favorite part of the series, to be honest. That kind of conversation that I believe it's Frank Herbert. Let me have a little look. Potentially, yeah, Frank Herbert, the author, is going for. It does kind of lack the scale of the first book because it's very isolated around Paul and this kind of conspiracy that's going on around him. But it does get really freaky and weird in terms of the characters and the Paul encounters and who are conspiring against him, which I really appreciated. There is a sequence from I reckon around page 182, so maybe 30, 40 pages. I can't remember. It's potentially my favorite ever bit of any book ever. Basically, Paul Atreides he goes undercover into the city and attends I guess the cathedral type thing that his sister Aaliyah runs, and he sees what his subjects essentially see in terms of religion and stuff, and he's almost like an ant getting just like dominated by the church and the government, and I just thought it was such a brilliant way of writing his point of view and kind of getting people to understand how it really feels. So a big fan of that. Yeah, the ending did feel a little bit abrupt, but ultimately it did end in the right way. So it wasn't like it was abrupt and just random shit happened. You're like, oh, that's a bit weird. It made sense. I maybe would have appreciated about 50 more pages, but yeah, that's the end of my two-part book review. There's probably, I'm reading Inherent Vice at the moment, so maybe it might be a little review of that when I finish it in about 8 months' time. Now, my film game for this week is actually one that was suggested to me by James Alcott on the latest episode of Jaffin, in which I appeared and gave my weekly Hancock's hot take. So, go and listen to that. Veronica, I have the names of 10 actors, and it's very simple. It's your and slightly my job to work out who the biggest actor is. Not necessarily the best, although I'm sure the ability of the actor would weigh in. But do you understand what we're going for here with this game?
The biggest in what terms?
Not size, in terms of gravitas, fame, ability, I guess.
Oh, so it's not like a right answer.
No, I guess we're just trying to work out. So maybe we'll do this every couple of weeks. So next week we might do actresses, and we'll try and work out who the biggest
Okay.
actress is. Right. So your first one, who is bigger? Completely your opinion. So don't feel
Mhm.
much pressure. Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks?
Tom Cruise, and this was such a stupid question on Jaffin. It's clearly Tom Hanks is like nobody in my
10 years
eyes.
ago, maybe the conversation's there, but but
Because
not
of
now.
Forrest Gump. That's the only reason you'd say it.
Love that. I love that film as a kid. I watched it with my
Yeah, so do
grandma,
I
and
as a
I loved
kid,
it. I've
but
not
I don't want
rewatched
to
it since.
rewatch it
Yeah,
because I feel
exactly.
like
Yeah,
I won't
got
like
fond
it.
memories. Right, Tom Cruise or Denzel Washington?
Uh, this is hard because I haven't watched. I honestly haven't watched many Tom Cruise films or
I've not
Denzel
watched.
Washington
I've not
films.
watched many. I've watched less than 10 Denzel films. By the way, if you want me to weigh in, I'm happy to give my opinion. It's your call. But yeah, who's
Yeah,
bigger,
you
Tom
take
Cruise or?
over this one.
I think who is more relevant in the public conscience? Denzel's a better actor, but I think
Yeah,
Tom Cruise is more relevant in the public eye, mainly because of the weird stuff. But we'll call it Cruise now. Right. Who is a bigger actor? I think I know the answer to this one. Tom Cruise or Jake Gyllenhaal or Gyllenhaal as people.
Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal. I love him.
Ooh,
I love him.
big.
Listen. I told you I'm not an action film person, so obviously Cruise's action films aren't going to hold incredibly high in my regard. Although
His
I do
dramas are
like the
better.
Mission
His
Impossible
dramas are better.
films. The problem is I haven't watched them. That's the problem.
That's
And with
fair.
Jake
That is very fair.
Gyllenhaal, right? He's one of my favorite actors ever because I had a phase where I was starting to watch films, and when I was watching older films, like the films that he was in were films that I liked. So then I just thought, well, I'll go through his filmography, kind of what happened with like Ryan Gosling or whatever, where it's like, you just start going through their filmography and like, surely all the projects they
See,
picked will be good.
yeah,
And
you
then
see Donnie Darko and then you're hooked, right?
I didn't like Donnie Darko actually.
Oh, all right. Well, in this case,
uh,
no.
I was hooked with like Zodiac, Prisoners,
Zodiac's so good.
Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was the one that was like, this guy is one of my favorite actors ever.
Have you seen Enemy?
Yeah, I have, and I didn't like it that
Weird.
much.
I don't like the ending because
I
yeah,
loved.
the
You
big
know
thing
what
scares
else
me.
is a good Jake Gyllenhaal film? Okay, I've also watched like Wildlife, which is like a drama he did.
I've seen Wildlife as well. It's directed by Paul Dano.
Yeah,
Kind of
and Carey
mid, but
Mulligan's
like
good in
pretty,
it.
very pretty.
And also, this is like one of his newer films that is actually good because most of these actors that I used to like, and I went through their filmographies, the newer they get, the worse they get. Like another one of those is Amy Adams. I absolutely love Amy Adams, and I would go through her filmography watching her films. And then like the newer films, like the newer the films get, it's like you can just tell she's only doing it for money. It's like they just get so much worse. But like the last time I saw Jake Gyllenhaal in a good film was a film called Nocturnal Animals.
I'm yet to see it. I really
It's
want to see it though.
2016, directed by Tom Ford. I don't know if it's the same one.
It is
I
the
d-
same one.
it
I
is.
googled it. It is. Yeah,
Oh
it's the same one.
wow. Okay. Well, it doesn't have like the highest average ratings from the public on Letterboxd, and not even really from my friends. But it's a thriller. I'd say it's like a
It's got
psychological thriller.
3.7. It's not that bad.
Amy Adams and Jake Gyllenhaal. Aaron Taylor Johnson's in it. Isla Fisher, Army Hammer somehow, like Michael Sheen, like just a crazy cast. Michael Shannon, like really crazy cast. Like when these are two of my like favorite actors, Amy Adams and Jake Gyllenhaal. So this is basically a film made for me. I absolutely loved it. But anyway, yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal
Before we
because
move on,
I've watched all his
yeah,
good films and I love them.
right, we've got some more actors, but before we move on from that, I would highly recommend the Jake Gyllenhaal film Source Code. Very, very good film. Right,
Okay.
next up, who
Yep.
is bigger, Jake Gyllenhaal or Brad Pitt?
Okay. That's actually really hard. I know everyone say Brad Pitt. I know that.
This
But
isn't
that's
Brad
hard
Pitt
for
from
me
five
because
years ago, is it? That 5 years has changed a lot
okay,
for
but you
both
mean
actors.
big right now, or like
Yeah. Now, because I've said yeah
I mean
about eight
Jake
million
Gyllenhaal
times there.
had the Roadhouse remake that I really liked as well. Actually,
Roadhouse.
I don't know if you've seen the remake with him and Conor McGregor,
Yeah,
but it's
it was
actually really fun. It's
shit, but
yeah,
shit, but
I think we
fun.
talked about it. It's
Yeah.
fun. Okay, the thing is, I don't think Brad Pitt is that good of an actor in general, to be honest. But like, I
You
haven't
actually
seen a lot of films. I
you
said I
strike me as a
haven't.
person that hates Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, I loved it. What the hell?
Oh yes, my favorite Tarantino film. Funnily enough.
Well, it's not mine, but I did really like it, and I want to rewatch it. I want to get it on Blu-ray, and I want to rewatch it. Um, I know that Brad Pitt has good films. It's just that I know I haven't seen his best. Like, okay, maybe that's one of his best, but like I haven't seen the Ocean's films. I haven't seen Snatch. Like I haven't seen these films, so that's why I kind of am not 100% secure with saying. This is just me giving my opinion on who I like more, though. I like
You
I'm
know who
not
you
getting
know
the.
what Brad Pitt was great in? Babylon.
Oh my god, stop! I fucking love Babylon. It's one of my favorite
Make a
films of all
decision. Right,
time.
this is it. 5 seconds. Five, four,
Brad Pitt.
3. Yes. Okay.
Only
Cool.
because
Brad.
I love Babylon so much, and
Yeah.
also I
Brad.
love Fight Club, and I do not care what the reputation is around Fight Club, and I don't care. I love Fight Club. It's still one of the best films.
His
Ugh,
Brad Pitt's performance in
it's so
just before we
good.
move on to the next actor, Brad Pitt's performance
The Big Short as well.
in Babylon is, I think,
I
potentially
love
one of his
Babylon
best.
so
Anyway,
much, man.
right,
We need a
Brad Pitt
Babylon
or
episode
yeah,
for
the
all the
types of
Babylon
Babylon.
heads out there.
Yeah, the Babberheads. Brad Pitt or DiCaprio.
DiCaprio. I mean,
DiCaprio
he's
or
one of the biggest of all time. Is
yeah,
DiCaprio like
Brad Pitt?
crazy?
No, not Brad Pitt. Leonardo DiCaprio or Samuel L. Jackson.
I still think it's DiCaprio.
Right, this
DiCaprio
one's
is
good.
just like crazy. Like, if you start naming the films like that I
Crazy
love,
aura.
Inception, Wolf of Wall Street, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Shutter Island, Django Unchained, Titanic, Killers of the Flower Moon. Like these are newer films as well, like Killers of the Flower Moon,
I think Leo
The
is
Departed,
actually
The Great
a
Gatsby,
really
Romeo and Juliet. Like
disrespected actor.
in every single like decade, every or like even every 5 years you look at, he is still one of the biggest actors out there.
Right, this
Yes,
next one.
and the range. Okay, right, whatever.
This,
Let's move on.
this next one's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a quick one. DiCaprio or Willem Dafoe.
No, you can't do that to me. Yeah, but because your question is stupid. I'm gonna say your question is stupid. You're telling me, oh, who's the bigger actor? Well, then Leonardo DiCaprio wins over everyone every single time. If you're saying who I like more,
Well, that's not the game, is it? Because if it was, the game is who does Veronica like most, we're not gonna have any debate or internal suffrage, are we?
well, we would have a debate because you could say, well, I don't think he's better.
No, because it wouldn't be that though, would it? It would be, oh no, I don't think you prefer that guy more than that other guy, and it would just be your opinion against itself.
Yeah, well,
So we're saying
whatever.
DiCaprio, right? The last two
But
very quick.
but I
Go on.
love Willem Dafoe. He was in like, I think Willem Dafoe is in 3 of my top 10 greatest films of all time. He's in 3 of them.
Life
Poor
Aquatic with
Things,
Steve Zissou.
American Psycho, and The Florida Project. Actually, no, he's in 4 Kinds of Kindness as well. He's in Antichrist as well. Oh my god, no. Okay, he's in like 6 of my top 15. That's
DiCaprio
how much I love his films. All right, let's move on.
or Will Smith.
DiCaprio.
And last but not
How
least,
is Will Smith? Will Smith, I can't even think of one good film he's been in. But that's also me
DiCaprio
not watching films.
or finally Robert De Niro.
Well, you're saying right now, so it's DiCaprio right now.
Yeah.
DiCaprio was in Killers of the Flower Moon last year. I can't pick De Niro. Well, so was De Niro.
So is De Niro.
Okay, but
De Niro should have won an Oscar for that film. Anyway, right, so
I
that is
completely
it.
agree.
We have found out who the
I also
biggest male
don't like
actress.
Heat.
Go fuck
Anyway.
yourself. Right. As for this week's film news roundup, I have 6 news items for you in order to keep you up to date on the world of film and entertainment. Number 1, Daniel Destin Cretton, director of, he's not a cretin, I should say, director of Shang-Chi, is to direct Spider-Man 4. Sony has been alleged to scrap most of Beyond the Spider-Verse for creative reasons. However, these rumours have been shut down by people at Sony and the creative team behind Beyond the Spider-Verse. So we probably still won't see the film for another 2 years, but it's not been scrapped. Next up, Edward Berger, director of All Quiet on the Western Front, which I've still not seen, has denied that he's directed the next James Bond film. A24 has acquired The Brutalist for 10 million, which means we will never see it ever again. So that's sad. Next up, the script, and this is why I mentioned it earlier, the script for Dune Part 3, Dune Messiah, is in development. Denis Villeneuve is currently writing it. And last but not least, in very sad news, acting, I'm going to say a powerhouse, James Earl Jones, has sadly passed away. An absolute giant of acting. I believe he was the last surviving member of the cast of Doctor Strangelove, which I'm seeing in cinema. So yeah, it's very sad news. Anyway, to round us out on this episode, Veronica, you have a film game for us, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. I do. It's a classic. It's probably the last time I'm going to do it in the next few weeks, just because I do it every week. But it's the guess the average rating
Cool.
because
We'll
it's
retire
fun.
for a few weeks. Let me get
Yeah,
my pen.
it'll
Let me
come
get
back
my
at some
whiteboard pen.
point. Um, all right. First film, the original Beetlejuice. What's the average rating?
The average rating, 3.7.
I'll give you 1 point, 3.8. I thought that
That's
was quite
yeah.
high. I didn't know people loved it that much.
It's a cult classic though, isn't it? Which always helps.
You gave
This
it
pen
what?
doesn't. 3.5.
Yeah, you did. Well done.
Pen doesn't work. Let's get a new pen. What's next on the agenda?
Next is the sequel to Beetlejuice. What's that
Oh,
one on right now?
I looked at this earlier. I'm going to say 3.4.
Yep, bang on.
Hang on, 2 marks. I've not seen it, so no rating for
I
me.
haven't even.
I will see it soon,
Okay.
hopefully.
Train Spotting. I know you haven't
Again,
seen
if
it.
I've not seen it, I'm going to say it's on. I've been meaning to see it. I believe it's on 4.1.
I'll give you 1.4.2. Really high average rating.
Decent.
For your extra point,
Hmm.
I'm going to get so much hate for even revealing this, but what did I give Train Spotting?
Oh, you've alluded to the fact you didn't like it that much, so I'm going to go 1.5.
Okay, no, okay, I didn't give it that low. I
Too
gave
low?
it
Too low.
2.5.
Oh, okay.
But that's so much lower than the average.
You're just
And I
a
feel like
controversial
I'd
figure,
get
aren't you?
slated for that opinion. Because all my friends love it. All my friends are giving it 5 stars. Okay. Next film, I know you still haven't seen, but I hope this me bringing it up again will push you to go and watch it. Kneecap, released this year, recently. What is the average rating?
3.9.
Okay, it's actually a 4.1, which is crazy, by
Wow,
the
that's
way.
massive.
That is a lot. Like
I've been
I'm
meaning to see
surprised,
it.
and I love
Just,
that film.
I think I'll probably catch it when it's out on streaming because until the 16th, I'm skint. So, and it's believe it'll probably be out of cinema by then. But yeah, very excited to see that at some point. It looks very, very
Extra
good. Oh,
point for my
gone.
rating, which you should know.
4.5.
Yes, 4.5.
Yes.
Really close to 5, honestly. I
It's a
had
tough
such
week
a
this week.
great time watching it.
Is it one of them that will go up to 5, or is it one of them like Hitman where you can kind of watch it multiple times and it will just
You
sit
can
at
just keep
4.5?
watching it. It'll sit at 4.5. I think the only reason it's close to 5 is because of the way I watched it, which was in a cinema full of Irish people and with the
Yeah,
cast. So it's like
that'll help. That'll help.
everyone loved it, so I was infected by all of that as well. Last film,
Oh, there's
Coraline.
more.
It was
Oh, what a
back in
fucking
cinemas.
film that is.
What's the average?
Oh, it's so good, Coraline.
Yeah, one of the
4.3.
best. 4.2, so you get 1.
1 point.
And what did you
I,
give it?
I must have it at 4.5. If I don't, I'm going to have
Yeah,
to rewatch it.
yeah, you do, you
Yeah,
do.
so good.
Probably
Honestly,
one of the best
so
animated of all time.
yeah, definitely. It's a quick story about Coraline before we go. Back in, I want to say like year 4, maybe, my teacher in primary school, Mr. Strong, I actually went to his wedding reception, funny enough, because he was my best mate at the time, was his dad. I think it was him, did it anyway. It was him or someone else. We for creative writing in English, he made us watch. We watched Coraline in class all together, and I was so inspired by it. I can't remember what I wrote, but I think it's such a amazing film, and it's actually not scary, but like it's spooky and it's weird, it's creative, and it's just magnificent. What have you got it set at, if you know?
I don't think I rated it just because I watched it when I was younger. I know I
Yeah, I
liked it a
rewatched
lot,
it last year, I
but
believe.
I need to rewatch it so I can actually rate it because I just like there's no point in me guessing what I thought 10 years ago, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it stands up on rewatch, which is good. Anyway, that officially takes us up to the end of another episode. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to go back and listen to last week's episode if you're missing the guest segment, which featured the amazing improv comedian, all round great bloke, Tom Wilson. Where we chat film, football, the inside of improv comedy and all of the minute details you might not know about. Well worth a listen. Veronica, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Can you let the people know how they can get in contact with us and where they should follow us?
Yes, so obviously the Twitter at FloodlightsPod. If you have any questions or want to be a guest or know someone who wants to be a guest or just want to leave us a nice comment or a nasty comment or whatever, it's all welcome as feedback. You can DM either me on Twitter at Veronica_K9. That's Veronica with a W, by the way, and a K. And then you can also DM Jack at Hancock Analysis on Twitter. We have an email for any serious inquiries, or if you want to send us things like HMV gift cards or Amazon gift cards or anything.
Nothing illegal though. Don't say anything illegal. It's
Yeah,
the only rule.
yeah. The email is floodlightpod@gmail.com. And follow us on Spotify if you're listening, or on Apple Podcasts, because we are on Apple Podcasts now. I sorted it out. Or subscribe to the YouTube if you're on YouTube. If you came from Jaffin, leave. I'm joking.
No, everyone from Jaffin
Stay.
should stay. Yeah.
But don't leave any bad comments on our videos, only on James's.
Well, in fairness, all publicity is good publicity, but you heard her. You know, is get in touch with us and how to follow us. Until next time, keep watching and keep consuming, and adios.